10 years ago, the Oilers drafted Connor McDavid first overall, a generational talent who is currently dominating the NHL in search of his first Stanley Cup and undeniably the best hockey player in the world. 10 years before McDavid was drafted, the Penguins took Sidney Crosby first overall, a generational talent who dominated the NHL for years, won 3 Stanley Cups, and is easily a top 10 hockey player of all time. But who is next? Ask this question to any hockey fan right now, and they'll give you one of 2 players.
Bedard, he's in, he scores! For Macklin Celebrini, scores!
To decide who will inherit the NHL, I'm going to break down both players, their play styles, what makes them great, and give a prediction on who will be the next best player in the NHL. Let's start with Macklin Celebrini. He spent his draft year at Boston University as the youngest player in college hockey and the best player in college hockey, becoming the youngest ever to win the Hobey Baker and Rookie of the Year and First Team All-American. He was a lock as the #1 pick in the 2024 NHL Draft, a sought-after prospect who looked extremely promising. But before his rookie season, he didn't have any generational buzz. Connor Bedard had those generational labels years before he was drafted, lighting up every single league he touched, breaking plenty of records in the process, and getting picked first overall in 2023. Heading into the NHL, the expectations for Connor Bedard were very high, and he didn't disappoint. But he also didn't wow. A rookie season that was slightly under 1 point per game and a little short due to injury. He still took home the Calder as the best rookie that season, but it was by all measures pretty much exactly what everyone expected of him, maybe a little bit less. A guy who's a little undersized, coming in at 18 to a league full of grown men, playing alongside a terrible Blackhawks roster, putting up good numbers and making some world-class plays. But there were generational expectations for this kid. The Calder and the highlights and the production were a bare minimum of what Bedard had to do. We're talking about a kid who was expected to win MVPs, to lead the league in scoring, to break records. To avoid heavy criticism and being labeled a bust in his sophomore year, he would need to take his game up a notch. But then came a new first overall pick.
Saved by Askarov, and a chance now for Macklin Celebrini. Celebrini in, score!
Macklin Celebrini's rookie season did not have generational expectations. Sure, he was selected first overall, but he wasn't seen as the best prospect since Connor McDavid. So, when Celebrini had a rookie season slightly under 1 point per game and a little short due to injury, combined with a very lackluster sophomore season from Connor Bedard, some conversations started. When you take both of their rookie seasons and compare them directly, they are almost identical in games played, in goals, in points. Their production was very similar, but they are 2 different types of players. If we're truly going to make a prediction on which of these 2 players will take over the NHL, I think first we need to go over what makes them great.
Right leg, comes back in front, they score! The giveaway, it's Bedard!
If I were to use one word to describe their greatness, Celebrini would be cerebral, and Connor Bedard would be forearms. Let's start with Macklin Celebrini. Again, he went from the youngest player in college hockey to the youngest player in the NHL, but it didn't matter. His understanding of positioning and feel for the game are truly cerebral. His brain was made to process hockey. It also helps that he didn't come into the league as an undersized player. Celebrini's not huge. He's not some 6'4", 230-pound monster, but he is listed at a respectable 6 feet, 190 pounds. What really started the conversations of Bedard versus Celebrini was not their identical production, but what Celebrini has that Bedard doesn't. At 18 years old, in his rookie season as the youngest player in the league, Macklin was already showing a very polished game. a responsible defender, and for a rookie, he was good in the faceoff dot. 48% might not look great, but it took 3 years for Bedard to hit those same marks. And when compared to other rookies who had great offensive potential, Crosby, Stamkos, McKinnon, 48% was a good mark. There are these little bits and nuances to Celebrini's game that are so rarely seen in young forwards, especially not young forwards with elite offensive potential. A player whose ceiling might be leading the league in scoring and being one of the best two-way players at the same time. But enough about Macklin. Let's talk about Bedard and his big meaty forearms, because they are, in part, what makes him great. When Bedard was 12, he broke his wrist, specifically his right wrist, the lower hand on his stick. Even at 12, the kid was obsessed with hockey. Not willing to sit back and rest, Bedard kept training at 12 years old with a broken wrist, using only one hand to stick handle and shoot the puck. When the cast came off, there was a noticeable improvement to his shot. Your strength in your top hand, and especially the wrist of your top hand, is very important when it comes to shooting and stick handling. This otherworldly shot would label him as a generational talent. But when he made it to the NHL, his shot wasn't going in like it used to. 22 goals in 68 games his rookie year, followed by 23 goals in 82 games his sophomore season. Those marks were far from the game-changing goal scorer he was supposed to be, and there were a few reasons for that. His team was bad, he's an undersized player, and his skating was lacking. It was hard for Bedard to get to these places where he wanted to shoot from. His teammates struggled getting him the puck there, and he struggled getting there himself. There were still plenty of flashes. His talent and skill was undeniable, but the start of his career as a whole was not pretty. Through his first 2 seasons, Connor Bedard ranked last in the league in plus-minus. But things can only go so wrong for so long. In the offseason, Chicago would sign Ryan Green to an entry-level contract and trade for Andrei Burakovsky, 2 players that would match well with Connor Bedard, and the guy himself got busy. A very noticeable increase to his 20+ mile-per-hour speed burst shows the work he put in on becoming a better skater, which leads us to the current season, the 2025-26 season. Connor Bedard is in the best situation he's ever been, and Macklin Celebrini is here to prove his rookie season wasn't just a fluke.
Macklin loads up, shoots, and scores! Macklin Celebrini!
Currently, Bedard and Celebrini are both on an absolute tear, each of them dismantling the NHL in their own way. Both are at the top of the scoring charts, but who is better? Celebrini and his cerebral game, or Connor Bedard and his otherworldly shot? Who will take the reins from McDavid? When I first thought about making a video comparing these two, I thought I knew the answer. I mean, in my head, it's Bedard. When the team gets a bit better and he hammers out a few rough spots in his game, he's gonna be the best. And then the season started, Bedard had some better teammates, his skating was improved, but still, Celebrini matched his production and is a year younger and is bringing a two-way impact that Bedard isn't, so it's Celebrini then. Celebrini's gonna be better. But then, this happened.
Green, cross ice, Bedard shoots, scores!
The second goal in Connor Bedard's second career hat trick. When I saw this goal, I couldn't stop thinking about it. It wasn't the most impressive he'd scored in his entire career, but it kept reminding me of something. Him releasing this shot from his feet, and yet it's a pinpoint missile. Then, it happened again.
Look out, here's 98, and here's Bedard, cuts in, shoots, and scores!
Seeing these goals, these shots, the only person they reminded me of was not Ovechkin, it wasn't Matthews. All I could see was Curry.
They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry!
Earlier in the season, Bedard scored his first career hat trick, which included this goal. A goal that sets up kind of similar to McDavid's goal against the Rangers. The coverage isn't as tight, but it looks similar. It also looks similar to something else.
Curry splits the defense behind the back. Fires a three. Oh, he puts it in!
An undersized player who shoots the lights out. I look at Connor Bedard and I see Steph Curry. And still, I can't say with any ease that he'll be better than Celebrini. Macklin Celebrini is still just in year 2. The amount of graphics I've seen that put him next to Steve Yzerman, Sidney Crosby, and Wayne the Great One Gretzky is crazy. And yet, if you put a gun to my head and made me pick, I'm still taking Connor Bedard. I've seen people compare this to Crosby versus Ovechkin, and that just gets me so excited. They're both going to be so good. They're both already so good. I'm putting all my chips on Connor Bedard, but I wouldn't be mad if anyone disagreed with me. I wouldn't be mad seeing someone in the comments calling me an idiot for saying that. And only time will tell who's right. Specifically, February 2nd, 2026, that's when they play each other for the first time this season. A few days before the Olympics start, which has been somewhat controversial. Some people think that there's a battle between Connor Bedard and Macklin Celebrini for a spot on Team Canada's roster. Personally, I think any roster that leaves either of them at home is dumb. Point totals aren't everything, but you win by scoring. And as I'm recording this, the only Canadian players with more points than Bedard or Celebrini are Connor McDavid and Nathan MacKinnon. A bit of a side tangent, but I think it needed to be said. Just like you need to hit that subscribe button. Come on, I mean, you've made it this far into the video, you might as well subscribe now. But even if you don't, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a good day, and goodbye.